Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun channel. Imagine Dragons just published their new single music video called Thunder. Now it would be easy to say it's satanic, and it is basically, but it's no surprise here. Imagine Dragons, the band that welcomed us to the new age, right? So in any case, this video was produced by Joseph Kahn, and it was filmed on site in Dubai, which you'll see in the music video. So the video starts off, Imagine Dragons, people walking around. It shows the portal, an opening, a circular disc-shaped hole, and what happens after this is quite obvious. Another circular pattern. People getting up, gazing up at the sky where 3 laser beams come down. Thunder. Now we can get into the biblical reference of Jesus saying, "I saw Satan fall like lightning." That's the obvious reference. What's interesting is that these beams of light remind me of some photos that I thought I debunked. It was a video called Beams of Light Debunked Tianjin, China, and Light Rays Video Analysis, Anti-Crepuscular Rays. Now, I thought there was a pretty good explanation for this with the camera artifact with shutter speeds and stuff, but in any case, that's what these beams look like. And we're reminded of Project Bluebeam and everything else, but it's this idea of these beams of light coming down and these beings arriving. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. And in this scene, it's really interesting because you have one of these demons looking around, seeing sheep everywhere. And of course, a commentary on the earth and everybody just being sheep, right? Being herded along, not trying to understand the deeper meanings of life and reality, all this stuff. But also a mockery of the sacrificial lamb. And of course, this war against the lamb makes sense. Revelation 17:14, they will make war on the lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those with him are called and chosen and faithful. That's us. We're not going to buy into some of this stuff here, this propaganda. Now, I find it interesting here that they appear and show themselves through this maze of what appear to be microchips or microchip technology. And this concept of computer chips being a gift from the Watchers to mankind to open up the portal for these entities, these Watchers, to appear again as part of God's judgment is not missed here. It's pretty obvious what's happening. They're conditioning the masses here with what's coming. And of course, this is Serpentine with her serpent tongue here. Now they seduce you with the good dancing, and that's the thing. Artistically and, in terms of appreciating the art of both, the physical dance and the imagery and all that, I can understand at that level why this kind of thing is allowed and, thrown out there. But the price you pay with doing so with this type of imagery is that you are, whether on purpose or not, associating these concepts, a deeper philosophical implication or message, which is ideologically Luciferian. It is in line with those who believe and worship Satan, the adversary, as the liberator of mankind, not Jesus Christ. It's a diametrically opposed position. Here we see a tunnel. I think this represents DNA and DNA change here as they show the different, all the imagery is DNA here. All the curvature and the lines and everything show that what they want to do here is manipulation genetically to create you humans into something else. The acorn imagery is consistent with the Vatican and what they have shown to be of importance with acorns in general, and the connection to the pineal gland. And this is where it all connects. This is where technologically the opening of the portal, the spirit world and the physical world connecting and opening doorways. This is all part of the merchants selling you a product, right? It's always going to be a product, and it's going to enslave souls, and it will do so through this contact point of the mind or the pineal gland. And I truly believe that that's part of why they keep showing this imagery. And at the same time, the appearance of these beings And you see these sheep just floating around, being tossed by the wind. This is very symbolic. I mean, whether they purposely did it or not, the symbology here is both transhuman in the humanist sense, but also tying together everything we've talked about with the mark of the beast and the image of the beast, the worship of the image. Now think about this. Now, those who defend this sort of imagery and say, hey, but this is just art, this is just creativity. Yes, on one level it is. But again, think about the message that's being delivered here, the deeper spiritual implications. If you're suggesting that you have to accept this imagery almost to the point of worshiping this imagery, then we're talking about something the Bible prophesied to be as part of people worshiping the dragon. Okay? So either way, you're sort of caught in this place where you either have to accept the fact that you're serving your allegiance to the dragon and saying, yeah, you know what? Well, whatever. It's human creativity. It is art. Well, just know that you're representing death, the fallen one, the one that will be destroyed in the end, okay? So as long as you know that, you're free to do whatever and believe whatever you want. Now here it shows a bunch of, I think, Ferraris, I'm not sure, doesn't matter, a bunch of them riding together, and each one of these gods, these dragons, disseminating into society. They have immersed themselves amongst the elite on this planet, and they're along for the ride here, and they're going to continue to push their agenda. They're going to continue to manifest their plans, which is to try and thwart God. And again, they show the imagery of the lamb here, and all the people forming a circle again in worship of the dragon. And it's interesting that there's three characters here. In Revelation 16:13, and I saw coming out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, 3 unclean spirits like frogs. So here we have the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. So I think this character is the dragon. I think this guy represents maybe the beast, because he has the horns. It's not precisely the number of horns in Revelation 13, but there you go. And she represents the false prophet, which would make sense because she was the one in the computer program here, or the computer chip imagery. And when we look at Revelation 13, the false prophet, or the second beast that rises out of the earth, this is the one that creates the image and the mark of the beast. So if they weren't guided consciously to represent these items, they certainly were spiritually. And I would suggest that the enemy is becoming more bold in showing himself and showing the satanic agenda to oppose the Lamb and oppose those who are for the Lamb. This is really unprecedented, I think. Are we really going to live in a time where a bunch of people are going to be worshiping the dragon, whether it be an extraterrestrial or a highly evolved transhuman, or whatever mixture or combination of those aspects, included with secret society members and the elite and, all the technology, the science, everything going on together? We're getting to a point where these types of images and depictions are going to become more of a reality, not so much just art. And at the end here, they're, celebrating fireworks, they're dancing on a thing here. This is celebrating the dragon, without a doubt. There's messaging here with the Tower of Babel, I think, since this is the tallest building in the world, and here they are performing this ritual here. So obviously there's a lot of spiritual connection here, a lot of things going on, involve all the things associated with CERN, and it's firing back up again. All the things we're hearing about HARP and the weather manipulation, that's part of it, I think. I mean, if you can manipulate the weather and control it, you can probably create basically gateways or some sort of portal based on electromagnetic control of the ionosphere. And I don't know, who cares how the exact thing works? I mean, we're talking about control both technologically and spiritually at a level that is unprecedented in all human history. And these technologies and control of these technologies have been around for a long time. I just think we're going to start seeing it. And I think this is part of conditioning the masses for it, because the message or the spirit behind this activity is of the fallen one. Don't be led astray because Imagine Dragons is a good band or whatever. I mean, the thing that sucks is this song and all their songs really, they're big hits. They're sort of catchy songs, okay? So it's understandable. It's like, yeah, they're good musicians, good musically, the band itself is pretty good, whatever. But think about what's behind the message here. This is sort of the default. As someone who grew up not a Christian, I didn't grow up a Christian, okay? And I really wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to make music. And those were real goals that I had in my life as, a young person growing up. And during that process, I noticed that the more you represent Satan, the more you represent the dark side, the easier it is to climb up the ladder. If you just represent dark stuff, you'll get noticed much quicker and you'll be able to have an opportunity much faster. Some of the opportunities I even had to record guitar on certain albums and stuff in Hollywood involved, in hindsight, the most satanic stuff ever. I mean, it's stuff I've repented of now, but the message that it represented is blasphemous. And I can't even believe that I was drawn into that because I was ignorant of the facts. I was ignorant of the spirit behind it. But once I was saved and once I understood what was going on, this sort of stuff became really obvious to me. And now it's even more obvious. I mean, come on, folks. There's no way that you can just say this is art and brush it off as nothing more. There's a philosophical, spiritual message behind it. There always is with anything. The world is embracing this metaphysical reality. And as a result of that, I think the void that is being filled intellectually at the scholarly level at the universities is going to be filled with alternative research, with drug use and its research, and all these things tied into opening a gateway again in your mind that manifests physically. But bottom line, it's spiritual. Bottom line, it's being led by the fallen one, by principalities and powers that actually don't have any power over us in reality. The blood of Christ covers us. In the name of Jesus, those spirits don't have any authority over us. But we don't practice that authority as a church. That's the biggest problem here. We don't apply those things to our discernment. And young people in the churches aren't taught to do this. That's why whatever vacuum they fill it with music videos like this, Thunder, Imagine Dragons. How many people who call themselves Christians are big fans of Imagine Dragons and support what they do? You got to really ask yourself that question. Be honest with yourself. And it's okay, it's like, I get it. It sucks, a lot of things that you thought were cool or you thought was good in the world turns out it's not, But when you realize the deeper truths of the gospel message and the supernatural reality that we live in, the physical world is fleeting. This world is decaying. This is not the world. This is not our home. So why put so much stock into this world? And that's what, these sorts of spiritual guidance entities are doing, is they're celebrating the fallen state, and saying, yes, you are liberated in this fallen state. Embrace your fallenness, right? Become a Nephilim like them. Well, I think I'm going to stick with God, the one who created all this. I think this is part of the deception that is allowed to happen so that we live in a world that has free will, a world where we get to experience the good things of life. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. Please give it a thumbs up, comment, share with friends and family, and have an awesome day. God bless.